Hello my dear children, welcome back to the next session of Java programming language. So the previous classes we already discussed about what are the major features of Java programming language. So many features we already have seen and also many things we discussed. So about compiler or interpreter, how the programming will be converting user code to machine format, that and all we already discussed. So here we are going to explain how the compiler and the interpreter, that is, we already know, we explained the point. Java, they are using compiler as well as interpreter. That means at a time or at the same time Java compiler and interpreter they are using. And how the Java compiler and interpreter will be working together. So today we are going to explain about that. So how it will be working. So the Java programming, compiler will be doing their own work and also interpreter will be doing their own work. Both are translators. They are translating the Java code or source code or programming statement to the machine understanding format, or it's also called as byte code or binary codes. Okay, then how it will be converting, how the Java programming will be working, we can see. So here the board I have given a diagrammatic representation how the Java compiler and interpreter will be working. So here we can see. So first, so whenever we are going to open the Java software, so the programming environment will be there, where we are going to type the statement or type the programming code. So that is called as source code. So we can give the definition for the source code is by using the Java statements. So different input and output commands will be the statements will be there. So by the uses of this command and statement, we are writing our program, isn't it? So this program is known as a source code. So source code means first command or first part of the user inputting section is known as a source code. For example, void main function and opening and closing brackets. Inside we are giving some variable declarations for inputting or outputting the data, and inputting command we are giving or outputting command we are giving, or some kind of calculations we are giving. These all will be known as the statement of Java programming, isn't it? So this group of statement is known as a source code of Java programming, isn't it? Then after giving the Java source code, how the Java will be doing the compilation and interpretation. So how we can see. So the first we are giving the Java source code. Okay, Java source code, after completion of typing the Java source code, the compiler will be catch the source code. Okay, so that we are giving to the compilation. While giving the compilation, compiler will be check all the statement. So that is the first step to the compilation. Then after getting the command or source code to the compiler, that will be converted to byte code. So the duty of the compiler will be converting the user input value or user input commands to the machine understanding format, that is called as byte code or binary code. Otherwise the computer never understands what the user will be given. Okay, so that purpose only they are giving the compiling option. So while compiling itself, the program statement is having any error or not, or any mistakes or not, the compiler will be find it. After recovering the mistakes, that means that mistakes you have to correct it. Okay, after correcting we are getting a solution, then only the compiler will be complete their process, isn't it? So after compilation, the computer will get the binary format. So how many statements we are given, or how much, that means programming means is a large volume of data will be giving together. That is how much it is, that is a decision matter for compiler. The compiler will be compile all the content within a fraction of seconds. So that's why computer is a very fast machine we are telling, because of this processing speed. So compiler is a very fast processor, language processor. It will be converting the user language to computer understanding format. The output of the computer understanding format is known as a byte code. So the process is not yet finished. After getting the byte code, this byte code will be transferred to the interpreter translator. So after getting the interpreter translator, the output they will be generated. Okay, so this output will be sent into the different types of OS which we are installed in our system, like OS bar 2, it's a type of operating system, and Unix is an operating system, and also Windows is an operating system. So this is the way the Java programming will be working. Once again I will explain how the Java will be working with both compiler and interpreter. That means a processing option. Actually it's internal processing, so the user cannot see how it will be. So you should understand this is the way the Java programming will be executing or processing. So we can go for that. So once if you open the Java software, like any text editor or any Blue Java software whatsoever, related Java software, you have to open it, and there you have to type the program. So which program we are going to execute it, or which program we are going to process it. That program statements will be there, number of statements will be there. So that number of statements you should be right on the particular places which will be providing by the Java. Okay, so after completion of typing the program, isn't it? So I think you are understanding. So after completion of typing the commands, so what are the program statements we are given, like inputting command or outputting section or calculations or some kind of processing or formatting whatsoever it be. Okay, so this all the statement. After completion of this statement, Java, that is called as a Java source code. The user will be giving some kind of commands or group of statement. So that is called as Java source code. So this Java source code will be given to the compiler. So after completion of typing, the compiler will be catch the source code. Then they have to started to converting the source code to machine understanding format. So it's a line by line they are converting. While converting or while doing the converting process, the given statement is having any mistakes or not, that will be given to the user. This particular statement is having mistake, you should be correct it. If you are not correcting, the compiler is unable to convert the program. So what the user will do, they are correcting the programming statement, and after correction of statement, again we have to give to the compiler, give the suggestion to the compilation. Then again the compiler will do the compilation. Then if all the statement will be given properly or correctly, the compiler will be translate all the source code to the bytecode format, that is machine understanding format. It is called as bytecode or binary format. Okay, so after getting the binary format, it should be given to the interpreter. So both, that means the same time compiler and as well as interpreter will be working. The first preference will be compiler. Compiler convert, that is called as a bytecode. After getting the bytecode should be transferred to the interpreter. So interpreter will be again process the bytecode, and it will be the interpreter will be generate the output of the given program. So this output should be give to any display unit. So before sending to the display unit, like monitor output seeing section, before that they have to give the command to the or information to the relevant OS which is we installed in our system. So each system is having different types of OS we are using. So that is the example for OS bar 2, Unix operating system, Windows operating system, Apple Macintosh operating system, or Linux operating system, or variants of Linux, any kind of operating system. So interpreter will be connected to different types of operating system. That information should be passes to the different operating system. Then we are getting the output the relevant program through any output devices, like monitor or printer or printout or whatsoever. So this is the way the Java programming will be working. So because of this reason only we are telling Java is using both compiler as well as interpreter. Okay, so this is called as Java compiler and interpreter. So the next concept of Java programming will be Java interpreter as a virtual machine. So we can also actually than the compiler, Java will be more giving the preference to the interpreter only, because Java will be using both applets and application development. Okay, so applet means web-based applications or web pages or web browsers. Application means user-created system-related applications. So that's why the Java interpreter we are considering as a virtual machine. So why it is called as a virtual machine? Because it is working virtually. Okay, so the example will be Java programming, how it will be working. So whenever we are typing a source code, so whenever we are working with the Java source code, so how the Java source code will be converting? So we already given the diagrammatic representation, and moreover they are using interpreter only. So in interpreter, that's why the interpreter is called as a virtual machine. So why it is called as a Java interpreter is a virtual machine? Because the Java interpreter will be converting the bytes code to the machine understanding format. So compiler will be converting the source code to byte code. Okay, so after converting compiler to byte code, it will be finished their work. Then the byte code still it is binary format only, so by byte format only. So the byte format it should be converted to again binary format, that will be done by Java interpreter. So that's why the Java interpreter is called as a Java virtual machine. So why we are telling always Java virtual machine? Because the Java virtual machine or Java virtual converter or interpreter, because of its conversion nature, because of its converting nature. The converting nature means they are converting bytes to machine format or machine language format. Because of this only we are referring it's a Java virtual interpreter. Okay, so Java virtual interpreter, it's a one of the, it's also called as a JVM. Short forms we are using JVM or JCM. So the Java compiler will be the JC, and JV is a Java virtual interpreter, JVM. So JVM also we are using. So most of the Java programming language they are using the Java virtual interpreter only. Okay, so virtual interpreter or virtual Java interpreter as a virtual machine. This concept we are using. So the next one is Java libraries. So what are the major Java library files we are using in the Java programming language? We can see. So each and every programming language is having their own such a rich set of library functions or files will be there. So what purpose we are using these library functions? So expanding our information or knowledge. So expanding in our programming statements, so sometimes we need to expand so little more we need. That means for example some kind of commands we are unable to give. So if you wanted to get help from the Java library, so library will be providing. So actually the normal library, what purpose they are giving? To reference the refer and get the more information about one particular topic. So that same purpose only we are using the programming library. So always inbuilt some commands or functions they are providing. So more than that, if you wanted to refer, we can depend on the programming library. So Java programming language is also providing their own rich set of library files will be there. So to compare with other programming language, Java is not having much more library files, but group of some commands and files will be there, how it will be working. So for accessing the input and output commands or some kind of languages or some kind of mathematical functions, so that and all we are unable to access it. So other languages they are giving the link, like preprocessor directives they are giving us a link and they are getting it. But Java is not having the preprocessor, directly they are accessing or directly they are importing the files from other source. So that is called as a library file. So how the Java will be importing or accessing files from other sources? They are using some relevant functions or commands is called as import command. So import command is used to importing extra files from different sources or some other programming or some other library files. So import java.io. IO means related, it will be, it means input and output command. The next import java.until, it's some kind of library functions like mathematical functions or string related functions or any relational functions, any kind of. So that is considered as a library functions. So related this input to important import files will be providing different types of links. So java.lang, lang, java.io, java.applets, java.net, java.awt, java.text, java.math, so etc. So many are there. So these are some example for the Java or JDK. So its short form will be JDK 1.3 files. So JDK 1.3 files means it's a library files only. While doing the programming, sometimes we need to depend on, or we need to use some extra concept or extra files like mathematical functions or string handling functions or some other library functions we need to use it. So directly it is not possible. For that they are providing some group of library. So library files we are unable to access directly, but other programming language they are using the preprocessor directives and all, but Java programming they are not supporting preprocessor concept. That's why they are providing the import command. So import means we are importing from somewhere else. So import means any kind of files or any kind of supporting files we can get it from other sources. So directly it is not possible. That's why they are using the import command. So import java.input and output commands, or import java.until command. So until is referred as different kinds of or group of supporting files, so that we can use it properly.